the Forsyth Magazines podcast. And today I have Morgan and Jamie, the owners of Fiddle Fig. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
Good.
Good.
Pretty good.
So Morgan and I were chatting a little bit before we want to talk all things Fiddle Fig, but I want to talk about the new location. How exciting.
Yeah.
I know you guys are so excited, but like I'm sure you're getting lots and lots of questions that you feel like you're answering over and over and over again. So I'm going to probably ask some of those same questions. Just because that's how, publicity works. You got to repeat yourself a lot.
I think I wasn't as ready for all of the questions when we did this process because we've already, opened the store that we have currently, and we went through all of these same things. And at the time, no one knew who we were. And so there wasn't this like, can we be your security vendor? Can we be your new, provide you rugs at your front door? Or can we clean for you? No one knew who we were, so we didn't get any of that. Now, someone published that we were moving in the paper, and it's like, we have how many, like 4 different security companies calling us, and like, so it's been
right. Or for a while there, it was every day we'd get a phone call about, can we have your space? And we're like,
oh yeah, who's renting your space? Can we rent it? And they're like, we don't even own this.
Yeah.
So
I want to talk about how this came about, because moving was not really part of the plan.
No.
So how did this come about?
You want me to start, Jamie?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So we, where do I even start? It's
probably January.
Yeah. I mean, it was really December. I saw to start, we had a lease at our current building through 2027 in December. So we had at least 3 more years at our current building. And
in West End.
In West End, yes.
Yeah.
And we, I drove past the Nietzsche's building in December, I think, or saw on social media they were closing. And I drove past and I was like, man, that would be a beautiful Fiddle Fig. And I went back and told Jamie, and she literally looked at me and was like, you're crazy. We're not, like, how are we going to move there? Like, that's not going to happen.
It's the look I give Morgan is, you're crazy. but it works.
Yeah. So I was like, man, that would be really amazing. And she's like, oh my gosh, like just laughed at, we were just laughing about it. And then
LOL.
Yeah. Good joke, Morgan. So we went to market in January with like still the same idea. We were going to be at the same building. And to be honest with you, it's been tough at our current location. We are located on the bottom of a building without any street frontage. We gave that up when we closed the upstairs and opened Mulberry last year. So I do feel like we had a little bit of a downturn because of that, because not being seen, and we're not getting traffic that's just driving by seeing us. And so that was I think the back of Jamie's mind. So then you went up to Pennsylvania and saw, you want to explain that part?
Yeah. So there's a store up here that we kind of modeled after several stores in Pennsylvania that what helped us to start all of this. And I was driving past this one store in particular. I'm like, man, what is it they're doing that we're doing differently? And when I drove by, I'm like, you know what? No one has to plan to come here. I never say I'm going to go to this store. I'm just driving by and, I'm going to pop in. So move forward 2 weeks. It's on a really busy road, and move forward 2 weeks. I'm driving down Stratford and I see Trader Joe's. I need nothing from Trader Joe's. I don't normally shop there, but hey, I'm here. I'm going to drive into Trader Joe's, drive a little further past Nietzsche's. And I'm like, you know what, Morgan, you're right. We need to move to Nietzsche's. So that's when we started pursuing it, isn't it?
Yeah. So at that point you were like, okay, let's go ahead first and go look at it and see what it's about. So we got a local agent here to take us, to see it, and we immediately were like, okay, let's try this. And at the time, it still hadn't been gutted, and it was all very choppy. Like, they still had the dressing rooms everywhere, and we're like, okay, well, we can use the dressing rooms for storage, and we can, have little storage areas for everything. And then we won't use the upstairs because at the time that was still very separate from the downstairs.
And they were thinking they would rent it 2 different spaces. Am I correct, Marissa? Yeah.
Yeah, so we were like, okay, well, they were like, it'll be fine if you just do the downstairs. You don't have to rent both. So we were like, okay, cool. So we had said, okay, well, we'll come back to this. We first got to talk to our landlord. So we talked to our landlord, went through that whole process, and then he was like, wow, like, I think, let me check on it and see what our proposal was, which we can't speak to part of it, but because they still haven't announced who's going into the 2 main spaces of Fiddle and Fig, but Louie and Honey has announced that they are taking over Mulberry. So that was part of our plan, was present like, okay, I know they need more space. Can they move down into somewhere? And so they said yes. So we had to wait. I think it was 6 weeks we had to wait on this answer.
Wow.
So we are just waiting for this building to not be taken by somebody. Like, I mean, they're talking, there's these other people looking at it. And,
it's prime real estate.
And we had to keep it quiet because we didn't know what was going to happen with who was going to come in after and anything at all. We didn't want to get anybody excited about anything or bring attention to the fact that the building was available. So
or did we want to get our hopes up?
We really didn't want to either. So we just kept praying about it and just saying, like, Lord, if this is like where we're supposed to move in this next path, like, just keep open, like keep the doors open, and we'll know.
Or close them hard.
Yeah,
close them hard if it's not.
And so we really just kept that hope open and just tried not to hope too much. And then 6 weeks came, and I think it was the Friday before Easter, our landlord calls and says it's a go. Everybody said yes. You're good to get out of your lease and all that stuff. So we figured that negotiated that whole part to get out of our lease, and submitted a letter of intent that Monday, right after Easter, to the landlord, and went through a month of negotiations and finally signed the lease the week before Mother's Day, and the termination with the current people, and announced that we were moving on Mother's Day of this year. So and in the meantime, they had gutted it during that 6-week period that we were waiting. They gutted the whole building, opened up the second floor, and now they forced whoever's hand that was going to take it to have to rent both spaces.
Yeah.
So
basically, it's gutted down to the studs, and they're like, you can make this your own. So
do whatever you want.
Really,
which is awesome because A, you guys are great at stuff like that, and B, I'm sure you could have made the dressing rooms work for storage, but to be able to have free reign and do whatever you want with that space. Yeah. I'm most excited about the opening from the upstairs to the downstairs. That is so cool.
We're so excited. We were trying to find our chandelier or something. We're going to do some fun light fixture up in there. So.
Yeah. And I don't know about you, Morgan, but I feel like now that we're going through this process where we're redecorating or remodeling this building, I feel like now we know this is how things need to flow for Fiddle and Fig, and we need an outlet here and we need this here. So it's been really good being in the building we are in, seeing what we don't have and what we need, and now we're able to start fresh and make it perfect.
We're gonna have employee break room. Like, we don't have that right now. Like,
because it's impossible to know without having run a retail store before exactly what your store is gonna need. Like, there's little things that are impossible to know until you're doing business.
Yep.
And now that you've been doing it, you're like, okay, for our new space, we know
need an outlet where this Christmas tree is going to go.
So we don't have extension cords running halfway through the store.
Yeah. So we've gotten to pick all that out. So that's been a lot of fun. I think that process, I feel like Jamie and I, over the past 4 years, have really been able to hone in our decision-making process with each other. Like, we both bring a different perspective to this business, and respect with each other, that we just value each other's opinions so much that we're able to just, if it's something that maybe I don't agree with, but I trust that Jamie's a bit wiser than me on the subject, then we just are able to say yes, you're right, let's go for it, and trust that the other person has the best interests of the business in mind. And I think it's
how cool is it that I get to work with someone who's 30 something, and we get stuck in our old ways and don't want to try new things, and boy, she stretches me, and and
then she tells me okay, whoa, now let's.
That's so funny because my mom and I are the opposite. Mom's let's do it. She's 65 and she's let's start a new magazine and do this and do that, and I'm whoa now, mama. hold your horses. Calm it
That's
down.
funny. Yeah.
You're the old soul. So.
Yeah, apparently. Do people ask y'all a lot if you're related?
Yeah, they
Oh,
think
my
she's my
goodness.
mom, and she's not my
Yeah.
mom. She's my brother's mother-in-law.
That's not confusing at
Yeah.
all.
Not at all.
Yeah, I think we touched on this the last time we did the podcast, but I met Jamie when my brother and her daughter were dating in 2017. I think my daughter
17, yeah.
had just been born that year, and then went to visit Lancaster, where she lived, and lived for how long? Your whole life almost?
All my life.
Yeah.
Well, my married life, yeah.
Yeah. Went to visit there and saw there was all of these home decor stores that Winston-Salem, or really Winston and the surrounding area, really didn't have a ton of.
Yeah.
And really felt like it could be a good business opportunity. And Jamie was at that point in her life. She can speak to a little bit, but she moved down here, and
Yeah, I was gonna say she moved to North Carolina for Fiddle and Fig, right?
Yeah. So Sierra, our oldest daughter, went to UNC Wilmington. That's where she met Braden. And we always said we were going to retire in Wilmington, but this isn't retirement, and we're in Winston.
not the beach yet.
It's warm in the winter. That's all I can say. We're not retired.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I love it. So you guys opened in 2020, right?
Yeah, in the fall of 2020.
Yeah.
So
What a time to open a business.
It was crazy. Honestly,
was
just
crazy.
looking back on it, I think speaking to people like about our business and how the trajectory of it and the financials have happened with the business, it's gone the opposite way of what I think every other business has seen if they had been open prior to 2020. We came in with people sitting in their homes, looking at their walls and thinking, oh, what can I change? I'm stuck at home. Like, I need this new furniture. I need this new decor on the wall. I need to paint this wall. I need to redo this. And we opened.
Plus the fact, Morgan, that we were a time where nobody went anywhere or did anything, and we were creating an experience too, I think. So it was the first time people were getting out and shopping. And yeah.
And so they were able to
crazy.
come in, and I mean, we couldn't keep things in stock. Like, we're like just ordering high quantities of all of these products, and then kept up that through 2021. And it was just crazy. And we were working, like, I ended up quitting my full-time job as an attorney in March of 2021 because we had enough work and income for me to be able to do that. And
that's funny. I always thought that you had quit being an attorney, like, from the get-go at Fiddle and Fig.
I worked Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 or more. From October through March, and then quit and came on full-time in March. So 6 months I stayed full-time.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so that was crazy. And then 2021, it was crazy again. And then I think that 2022 is where we were like, okay, we might have now hit this, like, we've overbought. And so we need to slow it down a little bit. And we had a couple of our warehouse sales, you remember, like, that year, because I think that, I mean, again, I was an attorney. She was a stay-at-home mom and a teacher. Like, we had no buying knowledge whatsoever.
I'm sure that's a really tough thing to navigate.
Yeah, and we were like, oh my goodness, if we can sell this many, we really need to have this. We don't want to disappoint anyone. We need to have this number. And, honestly, at that time too, during COVID, it was hard to get things. So if we could get our hands on things, we were like, yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah.
Because it could be gone.
Yeah. So 2022 was our year of, like, okay, the end of the year, I'd say. It was like, whoa, we need to slow it down a little bit and hone in and focus. And so we did that. And then then things just honestly just started slowing in the economy 2023. So it was like, now the economy's slowing. Now we really have to focus in and make sure that we're buying smart and figure that out. And I feel like we're doing a much better job of that now, for sure. I know there's still categories where, like, we bought a bunch of glassware. I feel like we have way too much of that right now. But, like, things like that, like little areas, which we can handle that. That's okay. So
you just learn as you go.
Yeah. So we feel good about so like I said, we've had to learn backwards. We just kind of like started out crazy, whereas I think businesses normally build up to where we were in year one. We went opposite. And so I think our hope for this new building is that we get back to being seen and we have new customers come in. There's still so many people that come in every week who say, I live here and I didn't even know you were here. So if we can just grab onto even more of those people when we move, I think that's our main goal, is just bringing more of that like experience and joy and home decor shopping that you can't get at big box stores that we
or online
bring.
shopping local.
Online you cannot get. I mean, there's just something about going. Before I ever opened Fiddle and Fig, that was why part of the reason we opened it was like, I like going into a store and smelling the actual candle, or touching the actual throw blanket, or touching the pillow, or touching the sofa that I'm about to spend over $1,000 on.
Yeah.
So I think that, we've gone back and forth like, oh, do we need to go more online versus, and that's what our plan was, honestly, if we stayed at the current location, was like, let's really ramp up the online. I actually think we're going to go backwards, right, Jamie? Like, I think we're really this year, we're not going to focus on online. We're going to just focus on getting this store open and making it the experience that we opened this that was our purpose in opening this.
I love that. So what are some new updates or new things that we can expect at the new store that you don't have at the current store?
You can go ahead, Jamie.
Well, we're going to go back to some of the oldies but goodies. Like when we first opened up, you probably remember that the second room in front of where our office was a garden room, and we will have a room dedicated to gardening, outdoor furniture and pots and gardening tools and all that kind of stuff. So we'll have that in one of the rooms there.
And we're gonna do we're gonna try to do a little bit more of those sections like that, where like this will always, like, we're gonna try it. I'm not saying we're ever gonna not change this, but like a bathroom or like spa type section, which we have now. Like we have it when you come in the door. There's like a bath items and soaps and stuff all in one section. So that'll be more of like a separated room near the register. We're going to have a section for those people that love a sale. There's going to be like a last call where like maybe there's like one or two of a candle holder left that we can't put into a display or whatever. Then it'll be in a room at a discount, or like if something has a scratch on it, then we'll have an area where people can actually come and just shop that instead of doing a warehouse sale or something. We're going to have a bit more of the like styled vignettes instead of, I feel like sometimes our store, I think I try to keep perspective of like, okay, if someone's never walked in here before, how are they feeling? And I think sometimes some of our displays could be overwhelming for people because they have a lot of stuff in them. So we're going to try to do a little bit more of like, here's how your living room can actually look, and then have the extra stuff off to the side. So a little bit more like that. We're going to have the same kitchen section. Like we'll have it, but it'll be new cabinetry and new look to it. Upstairs, we're gonna try to do some more bedroom stuff, Jamie. We'll have a bed back.
As you enter, we're actually using as you enter the double doors, there was this section where some brick went up the wall, and we're going to be using that as almost like a fireplace section with built-ins on both sides. So you'll walk into this really pretty decorated area.
And it'll still have the exposed brick. Oh, that'll be so pretty.
But it's like smaller than a normal fireplace. So I don't really know yet what we're going to do on the brick. But
how we'll do that. But we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
And then to the right, like when you walk into the right, there's going to be a living room section. To the left will be the kitchen. Oh, the new thing is we're going to have the old Nietzsche's counter. We're changing the top on it and painting it, and it will be where we can help people style. So we can help them do a floral arrangement, their mantle, a coffee table, and you can, because right now we just take it to the counter or find like a cleared off space and try to do it, and then it just makes a mess. So it's just going to be so much easier to just have this dedicated counter. And then we can use that counter if we have like a ladies' night or, I
was going to say, are y'all going to have events of any sort?
Not this year.
Not right away. She's like, Brooke, shut up.
No, I think that's honestly been one of our biggest questions that some forms of contact that we have had has been, can I have a pop-up at your new store? And will you sell my stuff in your new store? And will you host events? So I think this year we're just saying, let us just get settled. And we want to support local. That's what we did a lot. If you remember at our current store, like tons of pop-ups, events. We've tried to bring in some local artwork type stuff over the years. It's honestly a hit or miss on some of those things. So we are just going to get settled. And then we will next year approach whether we want to host some of those. We may do like a Christmas ladies' night. Go ahead and do that this year and test it out. But I don't think we're going to do any.
We've done those. We've done those in the past, and they're always real fun.
You gotta set those boundaries, you know.
This is a year of boundaries, right, Jamie?
Yeah. We want to be able to say our best. Yes, I keep saying that to Morgan. Like, we can do it, but can we do it really good and with excellence? Probably not. So that's not the best yes we could give.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I haven't really heard it worded that way, but I think Morgan and I are the same, where we're like, yes, we can do everything. We can do it all. We got this.
We can, but it's always not good. We can, but it's not always great.
We're gonna hate ourselves by the end of it.
Or get sick. Like, I'm the one that always ends up being sick.
Works yourself into the ground.
Or you just show up with a bad attitude with it. So it's like, you know what, if we say our best yes and do it really, really, really well, I think we're onto something there.
That's Mama Jamie and her wisdom coming through.
She's had that since day one.
I love it.
It's that balance I was talking about.
I mean, but it's so good that as business partners that y'all have both sides of that. Because if you were both, too extreme one way or the other, that would be probably detrimental.
And young Morgan is very similar to what young Jamie is. So I've learned a lot over the years, and it's like, that didn't work real well for me back then. And
sure.
So she's able to tell me where I think some people may come across when they try to tell someone no, or like, that's probably not the best idea. Someone may get offended. I do appreciate when Jamie's like, I would have done the exact same thing that you're doing when I was your age, but I'm telling you that I've learned from that, and here's why.
And this is what happened, or this is why.
And so it's been very helpful to. I keep saying Jamie. I truly do feel like Jamie was put into my life to be able to bring me some of that wisdom and just, I don't know, bring on the next generation of business leaders. Her husband and family owns several other businesses, so they have a lot of experience in this area. And I think a huge part about business success moving forward is people pouring into the younger generation. And that's how we even feel about our employees, is we want them to, we know that we're a home decor store. You're not going to work at most of our employees are in college or high school, and they're going to go on and do what they are going to go do. And it probably isn't going to be in home decor with us. We've got a lot of nurses or teachers or, people that have worked for us and gone on. And I think we just want their time with us to have been an experience that they can take on and make sure that they've taken something from us that's helpful in their jobs. So
I like that. So before we wrap things up, Morgan, I know you get this question all the time, but how did the leap happen from being an attorney to opening up a retail location? Because you really can't get much different.
Yeah. How did it happen?
Can I speak to that a minute?
Sure.
I would love to hear Jamie's perspective.
Morgan, from being an attorney, I can remember, we could go back to the very first market that we went to. She had a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder from being an attorney. Yeah. And she would not get onto escalators because she had a case about that. Frequently talked about, we shouldn't do that because this happened to this person. So I think it was just a really good time for her to. It's stressful.
Yeah. I did personal injury litigation for 6 years, and I know that I'm talking about myself, but I was good at what I did. It wasn't because I didn't enjoy it or was bad at it or any of that. I just think it was too much for my little brain to handle, and I did have several cases that I still to this day I will not ever go parasailing. I will not ever do certain things, but I at least can get onto escalators and breathe. And I was having, to be honest with you, I was having pretty frequent panic attacks and stuff for a good year after I stopped practicing. And was able to, there was a lot going on personally as well. So it all, I think, just opened up a whole different life for me to be opening a retail store instead of doing that.
Yeah, because I'm sure it has lots of stresses, but it's different sort of stress.
Yeah, that's why I always tell people it's a different stress.
Yeah, we often say it's just home decor. So like, you know, you mess up, it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, granted, it is now my livelihood for me, but exactly. I think what really the difference, I now can use I still am keeping my license up and doing my CLE hours every year. And I still review all of our contractual documents and like, you know, the lease for the new building, the termination stuff. We have hired outside counsel just to double check me because I feel like I'm getting a little rusty. But other than that, like I am keeping my license up and I have that, I think, as a back pocket. And if I were to ever go back, hopefully I never have to. But if I do, I know that I will be going back to transactional and not in the courtroom and not doing personal injury and all of that. So, but I think that, yes, I think this was a very easy way out. Not easy, honestly, but a better route out of law.
Well, and I've known Morgan for many years, and you've always had a passion for home decor and for design and for planning events and do it. So it seems like a really natural fit. Yeah, very natural.
Yeah, how cool is it that you can get to do that as your job? So like it's
exactly
not as stressful as the attorney.
Jamie has to hold me back from the event side of it a little bit because I think it was probably. Well, I think looking back, it was equal, our idea for the mulberry table.
Yeah.
But I probably pushed it a little bit more than she has since then. And just speak to that real quick. Mulberry table is closing September 1st is our last. We have an event booked on September 1st. I think there's only one weekend left in August. It's the 17th and 18th that we have open for rentals.
Okay.
But people are packing them in August before we close. But we're closing September 1st, and we will not be taking the event side of this to the new store.
Yeah.
We're going to focus
we talked about it. We did talk about keeping it and staying there and not offering that portion of the building to Louie and Honey. But, you know, that was another one of those things where this is double the size of the store that we have now. And can we do this and be a mom and a grandma and all the things? And our answer was that's not our best yes. So we had to say no to that, even though it's doing really
great.
well. We love it.
Yeah.
And
Morgan and I have planned our share of events together.
Yeah.
I love events too. They're fun, but it is definitely an added level of stress.
Yeah.
Lots of work.
Yeah.
I think I'm so proud of you for making that decision for the mulberry table and for making that decision to not be an attorney forever, that wasn't the best fit for your life, you know?
Yeah. Here we are.
Because I agree, Jamie, it's just home decor. We say that about the magazine. We're like, or I tell my mom, because she can be a little high-strung. I'm like, it's just a magazine. It's going to be okay.
Yeah. And that's what
I mean, there are jobs out there that are life and death and more important, not more important. I mean, everything is important, but like it is just, and when you come down to it, like what is important, and it's not home decor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're not, saving lives on the.
That's an enjoyable thing.
Yeah. Well, it was so much fun talking with you two.
Yes.
So before we wrap up, which we're a little behind, but what's the ETA for opening the new location? I'm sure that's a frequently asked question.
Yeah, so we're hoping that we will have the keys the beginning of September. And
to start the move-in process.
And so we will start the move-in process with things that we have at our current warehouse location, which is over off Peters Creek Parkway. So our goal will be to try to dwindle that warehouse stock and we have like a storage area at the new building, and be able to eventually not have to have that whole warehouse. So that's our goal within the next year after we move. But we will move things from the warehouse into the store first, get some things set up, make sure everything, like our displays are all ready to go. And then when we're ready to say it's going to be like a Saturday night, probably, we're going to close the store in September. And we will, I'm thinking mid to late September, if not first weekend. It's very flexible. Mid September to beginning of October. Jamie's daughter that she's at her house right now. She is due end of August with
Yeah.
her second
Oh.
baby. So Jamie will be up there for a good bit after the baby arrives, and so we're doing our best to plan as much as we can before that comes.
Yeah.
So mid to late September, we will close on a Saturday. We will move everything out of the store Sunday, Monday. Then we will get everything situated Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we will try to open a Friday, if not Saturday that week. So
Awesome. So I'm sure we can follow along on social media
Yes.
for all the updates.
Thursdays we have building updates. We
Okay.
may not have that much of a building update this week. There's not much that's changed since
Yeah.
last week, but
And we leave Tuesday or Sunday for market in Atlanta for next spring's. We're
I love
shopping
that-
for next
I
spring.
love that you're doing consistent like Thursday building updates
Yeah.
though.
We're
That's
trying.
cool.
Yeah.
It's hard to find some stuff sometimes, but we're Thursday building update.
Some weeks are probably like you can't cover it all.
Yeah.
And some weeks.
Yeah, like this is plumbing. It's very boring. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
So Thursday,
But also very
update.
important.
Yeah,
yes.
it is.
Very.
Honestly,
Yeah.
trust
So-
me. A lot of people use the bathroom when they come into our store.
Something you don't think about.
No, I did not think that was part of my job description when I opened this. Anyways, we could get into that.
That's funny. So how do we find you on social media? What's your handle?
It's Fiddle and Fig Market is our
Fiddle AND.
Yes, written
Fig.
out. Fiddle and Fig Market is our
Okay.
Instagram handle, and then we're on Facebook as well. And then we do have a new app that's a Fiddle and Fig shopping app, so you can download
Cool.
the app and shop straight from there. We do lives through there, and so we are actually going to be launching some fall stuff coming up in the app that we've
Love
just
it.
received. So we've got all those avenues, and yeah, I think we're ready to subscribe to our news. If you want to receive the building updates in your email, you can subscribe to the newsletter. And then on Mondays, we've been sending a kind of this week at the store update. So like if we have a sale going on or any announcements to make, those are on Monday nights. So
Yeah, because we are there until the end of August. We are still open and
please
Yes.
come see us until then. All
Yeah.
the fall's coming out.
All the frequently asked questions. We are open.
Yeah.
Yes.
You
And
can
we
find
are,
us.
I will say, we are not having a moving sale, but we are like a giant moving sale. The whole store no, that's not happening. But we will have like a section in the middle area that we are probably going to bring some things over from the warehouse that we're ready to part ways with and discount that deeply, but it will not be like a whole store
Yeah.
discount. So
yeah. And we've been doing weekly sales this summer, all summer, just to spread it out a little bit because we don't have the luxury of having a huge warehouse sale anymore.
Yeah.
Just because of our location in Peters Creek. So we've been doing weekly sales, and this week it's baskets. So
Yep.
come see us.
Awesome. Well, thanks, ladies. I
Yeah.
always appreciate y'all's passion for shopping local.
yes.
And we love that here at Forsyth Woman too. We're all about supporting local.
Yes. You do great work, Brooke.
Yeah. Well, as
we
always,
appreciate it.
you can find Fiddle and Fig on social media. You can find Forsyth Mags on social media at Forsyth Mags. And all of our content is on our website at forsythmags.com. And that is a wrap for today. Thanks, y'all.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you.
The views and opinions stated on this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our distributors or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Forsyth Magazines Incorporated. Whew, that's a mouthful.